This is Nightline and I'm Liyana Hassanel. News making the headlines. PM gives 2 weeks to NACL to prepare targeted subsidy proposal. And Datuk Seri Wan Rosdi to be sworn in as Pahang MB on Monday. Good morning. National Action Council on Cost of Living, NACL, has been ordered to come up with a proposal on targeted subsidies and their implications within 2 weeks. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the distribution of government subsidies should be carried out in a targeted manner to ensure that they benefit only those who really need them.
Saya berikan mereka tempoh 2 minggu untuk mencerakin, menelusuri seluruh istilah baru, istilah tu lama, seluruh implikasi dan juga bincang dengan sektor swasta, pelabur pada minat supaya mereka faham subsidi tujuannya itu meringankan beban rakyat miskin dan tentunya golongan yang kaya atau industri tidak harus mengambil manfaat.
Datuk Seri Anwar said this after chairing the NACL special meeting at Perdana Putra in Putrajaya on Sunday. He said the comprehensive policy related to the subsidies would be reviewed after the formation of the cabinet. The Prime Minister added that the electricity subsidy must be re-examined as the benefits received by the poor and the rich are almost the same. Datuk Seri Anwar pointed out that the matter is unreasonable and would be a huge financial burden to the government. On another matter, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim stressed that the appointment of cabinet members will not be a reward for supporting the formation of his government. He also reiterated that the 3 main component coalitions, namely Pakatan Harapan, Barisan Nasional and Gabungan Parti Sarawak, would be consulted over the appointments, while pledging to stick to this promise to reduce both cabinet numbers and salaries.
Advisors, of course we can consider 1 or 2 cases where it is absolutely necessary, but it should not be seen as rewarding political masters in order that they support you. I want them to support me based on my policies and my commitment to good governance and my commitment to anti-corruption drive and to resuscitate the economy.
He also said that the new government frontline will have to abide by anti-corruption commitments and prioritize the national economic development. Datuk Seri Anwar was earlier reported to have said that the cabinet would have a maximum of 25 ministers compared to the 31 under the previous administration. He is also seeking the agreement of ministerial candidates to reduce their salaries. And after the meeting, Datuk Seri Anwar was granted an audience with Sultan of Johor, Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar. The matter was announced through a post on Sultan Ibrahim's official Facebook page, with several photos of the meeting also uploaded on the social media platform. It is learned that the meeting lasted for about an hour. The meeting comes a day after the Tunku Mahkota of Johor, Tunku Ismail Sultan Ibrahim, had also consented to an audience to Datuk Seri Anwar. On Thursday, Sultan Ibrahim and Tunku Ismail congratulated Datuk Seri Anwar on his appointment as the 10th Prime Minister. Datuk Seri Anwar then had a meeting with Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Seri Hajiji Nur at his office in Putrajaya. During the meeting, Datuk Seri Hajiji, who is also GRS chairman, reiterated the state government's and the coalition support and full cooperation for the Prime Minister and the federal government. The Sabah CM also expressed hope that the cordial meeting, where both discussed state interests, would be a good start to foster better working relations with the federal government for the benefit of Sabah and the well-being of its people. The Chief Minister's entourage comprised Deputy Chief Ministers Datuk Seri Jeffrey Kitingan and Datuk Seri Joachim Gunsalam. Also present were USNO President Datuk Sri Pandikar Amin Mulia, incoming UPCO President Datuk Iwan Benedict, Kota Kinabalu Member of Parliament Chan Fung Hin from DAP, and GRS Members of Parliament. Later in the evening, Datuk Sri Anwar received a courtesy call from Datuk Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdal. The Parti Warisan President said issues related to the Malaysia Agreement 1963, MA63, were among matters brought up at the 45-minute meeting with the Prime Minister at Perdana Putra.
Ya, memang saya bangkit juga tentang perjanjian 63, itu perlu dilihat secara, tapi tak bolehlah secara perinci kan. Antara saya sebutlah, saya dah sebut ya. Ya, di antara perkara yang perlu dilakukan ya, saya bersebut, tapi cuma mungkin pelaksanaan berperingkat-peringkat.
He added the government needs to view MA63 more seriously and hoped that all deferred matters in the agreement could be implemented in stages. He also confirmed that there were no detailed discussions held on the Deputy Prime Minister's post and the Cabinet. The region of Pahang has consented to a state government comprising Barisan Nasional and Pakatan Harapan. Comptroller of the Sultan of Pahang's household, Datuk Ahmad Kirizal Abdul Rahman, said Tengku Hassanel Ibrahim Alam Shah had also consented to appoint Datuk Sri Wan Rosdi Wan Ismail as the Menteri Besar. And the swearing-in ceremony will be held at 11 a.m. on Monday at Istana Abu Bakar in Pekan. In a statement, Datuk Kirizal said following the outcome of the 15th general election, the region of Pahang had granted an audience and listened to all suggestions, motions and wishes from the political party leaders. The region subsequently approved the formation of the Pahang government by Barisan Nasional and Pakatan Harapan. The statement added that based on the powers provided to the ruler in accordance with Part 2, Article 3, Bracket 1 of the Pahang Constitution, the region has agreed to appoint Datuk Sri Wan Rosdi as the Pahang Menteri Besar. The Monday oath-taking ceremony will put an end to the uncertainty surrounding the new state government, as Pahang remained as the only state yet to form a government after ending up with the Hung State Assembly for the first time in the GE15. BN secured 16 seats in the state. PH has 8 seats, while Perikatan Nasional PN won 17 seats. Barisan Nasional will fully support Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim when a vote of confidence on him is called in Parliament on December 19th. Its chairman, Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, said with this vote of confidence, questions surrounding the validity of the Prime Minister's leadership could be put to rest. In a Facebook posting on Sunday, Datuk Sri Zahid said the democratic process must be carried out, despite some labelling it as a risky move. He stressed that BN will continue to fully support Datuk Sri Anwar as a sign of upholding the decree by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong on the formation of the unity government. Datuk Sri Zahid added that BN upholds the decree and put the country's interest above individual and party interests, adding that BN does not want to be politicking all the time and wants to focus on the people's economic problems that need to be handled together. He also urged all to move forward and together build the country towards prosperity and stability. In the meantime, a media statement claimed to be from BN on the proposed 5 Member of Parliament, MPs to be appointed ministers in the unity government is fake. The matter was confirmed by its Secretary-General, Datuk Sri Zamri Abdul Kadir. The statement contained the names of several MPs, which BN has supposedly submitted to Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim to be considered for ministerial posts. The names mentioned are Datuk Sri Muhammad Hassan for the post of Home Minister, Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani for Finance Minister, Datuk Sri Azalina Othman Said for Legal Affairs Minister, Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin for Education Minister, and Datuk Muhammad Alimin for Works Minister. Datuk Sri Sarani Mohamad has revealed that he had to rush to form a state government with Pakatan Harapan after Perikatan Nasional attempted to steal 4 Barisan Nasional assemblymen. The Perak Menteri Besar said he did not want a repeat of a similar incident in 2018, which led to the change of government in the state. Datuk Sri Sarani said he received information that there were agents from PN who had called and texted BN assemblymen, asking them to leave the party in order to join PN. He said he then made an immediate decision and called the palace to ask whether there was space available for him to have an audience with the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, the next day on November 20th. He said he then met all BN assemblymen and informed them about the meeting with Sultan Nazrin to convey to His Majesty about his wish to form a state government with PH and that there were no objections from them. Later in the evening, Datuk Sri Sarani was sworn in as the 15th Perak Menteri Besar before Sultan Nazrin at Istana Iskandaria in Kuala Kangsar. In GE15, PH and BN agreed to cooperate to form the state government after they respectively secured 24 and 9 seats, while PN garnered 26 seats. After this breather, COVID-19 protests widen in China. Details when we return. Nightline continues with news from the foreign front. Protests in China against government's strict COVID-19 measures have intensified, with some people publicly venting their anger at the Communist Party leaders, calling for President Xi Jinping to step down. The latest unrest follows a protest in the remote northwest city of Urumqi, where lockdown rules were blamed after 10 people died in a tower block fire. The incident has become a fresh catalyst for public anger, with many blaming lengthy COVID lockdowns for hampering rescue efforts. Authorities, however, have disputed the claims, but it has not stopped public outrage and anxiety from spreading. Early on in the pandemic, China's approach to controlling COVID-19 was hailed by its citizens as it minimized deaths at a time when other countries were suffering devastating waves of infections. However, support for Xi's signature policy of zero COVID has dissipated in recent months as Beijing continues to adhere to the restrictions, even as much of the world tries to coexist with the virus. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's public support slipped to a new low in a poll published on Sunday after 3 of his ministers were forced out in less than a month. According to the Kyodo News poll, support for Kishida's cabinet fell to 33.1% from 37.6% a month ago, his lowest in the agency's surveys since he took office in October 2021. The disapproval rating, meanwhile, rose to 51.6%, exceeding 50% for the first time. It was understood that Kishida's support has been sliding since the July assassination of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe that revealed deep and long-standing ties between ruling Liberal Democratic Party politicians and the Unification Church, a group that critics implied as a cult. It was also found that 62.4% of respondents disapproving of how Kishida had handled the resignations of the three ministers. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan said his party was quitting the country's regional and national assemblies as he continues his campaign to force an early general election. Addressing a large gathering in Rawalpindi city on Saturday evening, Khan said his Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI party was leaving all regional and national assemblies as he decided not to be a part of corrupt system. He added that he will meet the chief ministers of the PTI-led provinces and parliamentary party to discuss leaving the legislative assemblies. The former cricket star, who is now in the opposition, has been demanding early elections as he claimed that his ouster was illegal and orchestrated by Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif with the US government's help. Sharif and Washington, however, have dismissed the allegations, and the current government has set the next polls to be held in 2023 as scheduled. Khan has addressed more than 60 mass rallies in 7 months, but stepped down from personally leading the convoy after he was wounded by a gunman who opened fire at his vehicle on November 3rd. Italy has declared a state of emergency on Sunday after a landslide on the southern island of Ischia killed at least one person and left a dozen missing. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, in a statement, announced a state of emergency over what she called exceptional flood and landslide events. It was understood that $2 million has been provided by the government for aid and assistance to the local population affected by the landslide. As of Sunday morning, 10 people remain missing. 8 people have been rescued and 209 more evacuated from the area where the landslide occurred. More than 200 rescuers are still searching for the missing people, while hundreds of volunteers are busy cleaning the streets of the town. football, the 2022 World Cup. Another upset was recorded on Sunday night when Morocco outplayed world number 2 Belgium 2-0 in their Group F clash. Morocco broke the deadlock in the 73rd minute when Abdelhamid Sabiri curled in a free kick, catching Thibaut Courtois napping at the near post. Belgium then doubled their effort in search for an equalizer, but it was Morocco who went on to seal the win in the dying minutes. Hakim Ziyech's low cross was met by Zakaria Abouklal for a historic 2-0 win. With the win, Morocco climbed to the top of the group with 4 points, 1 point above Belgium in second. Earlier, Costa Rica put a huge dent in Japan's hopes of reaching the last 16 as they recovered from their hammering by Spain to claim a surprise 1-0 victory in Group E on Sunday. Keisha Fuller's 81st-minute effort, Costa Rica's first shot on target in a dreary game, stunned the drum-beating Japanese fans in the stadium and left the group wide open. Japan's historic victory over Germany in their opener, coupled with Costa Rica's 7-0 drubbing by Spain, cleared the way for Japan to reach to the last 16 with a game to spare. But a much-changed lineup failed to spark, and their hopes of reaching the knockout stage for a fourth time are now left hanging in the balance with their final game against Spain. In Group C, Lionel Messi thumped in a 64th-minute goal and Enzo Fernandez added another lead in the game to give Argentina a 2-0 victory over battling Mexico. Messi, who equaled Diego Maradona's Argentina record of 21 World Cup matches, was nowhere to be seen for more than an hour before picking up an Angel Di Maria pass, finding just enough space and rifling in with his left foot from 20 meters. Substitute Fernandez made sure of the 3 points when he curled a superb shot into the top corner in the 87th minute. The result restored order for the Argentines in Group C after their shock opening 1-2 loss to Saudi Arabia. Man found drowned in Klang. This and more after this short break. Back. A total of 31,822 dengue cases were recorded in Selangor from January until November 19th, a 131.5% increase in the number compared to the 13,645 cases in the same period last year. State Health Director Datuk Dr. Syahari Ngadiman said this includes 744 dengue cases that were reported between November 13th and 19th. The 4 districts that recorded the highest number of dengue cases so far in the state were Petaling with 10,927 cases, Hulu-Langat with 7,444 cases, 5,405 cases in Klang, and Gombak with 4,308 cases. 8 deaths were recorded in Selangor, namely 4 cases from the Hulu-Langat District Health Centre, 2 cases from Petaling, 1 case each from Hulu Selangor and Kuala Langat respectively. The public were advised to carry out cleaning activities at the common breeding grounds for Aedes mosquitoes to prevent outbreaks. A man frantically asked for help before drowning in a river near Pandamaranjaya, Klang, Selangor on Sunday. The incident took place at about 10:30 a.m. when the man in his 50s was noticed by the public going down to the river alone. State Fire and Rescue Department Director Nur Azam Khamis said a fire and rescue team were deployed to the scene after receiving a distress call from the public. Based on the initial information received, a man went down to the river and he was seen to be screaming for help before disappearing from sight. The fire and rescue team immediately took action to search the river and called for help from the Port Klang Water Rescue Team, PPDA. The team dived at the bottom of the river and found the victim at about 12:30 p.m. at a distance of 1 kilometer from where the victim was last seen. The body of the victim was brought ashore before the rescue team confirmed his death. The remains were then handed over to the police for further action. In Kelantan, a Myanmar woman was sentenced to 12 years imprisonment by the Kota Bharu High Court on Sunday for possessing 277.9 grams of methamphetamine at a roadblock in Tanah Merah in September 2019. Judicial Commissioner Datuk Muhammad Abad Zafri Muhammad Abad handed down the sentence after the accused so pleaded guilty. According to the charges, the accused has in her possession methamphetamine weighing 277.9 grams at a roadblock in Lalang Pupuyu, Tanah Merah at 1:30 a.m. on September 8, 2019. The accused was charged under the Dangerous Drugs Act, which provides for a jail term of between 5 and 20 years. Datuk Abad Zafri said as the accused pleaded guilty to the amended charge, the court should provide consideration to her plea. He stressed that although it seemed that the accused had become a victim of irresponsible parties, the court nevertheless needed to take such crimes seriously. The Riyadh season, a 2-month festival in Saudi Arabia, has kicked into high gear, providing entertainment to visitors through a series of events, outdoor activities and performances. With the theme of Beyond Imagination, the event also showcased the world's largest scannable QR code, marking the launch of the country's first electric vehicle brand, Seer. Let's take a look at the festival as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.